Here's the problem, though. You can't scroll for 5 seconds on X or Instagram without seeing it reposted, memified, or completely roasted by someone. However, let's break this down properly because this whole mess is much more than just a cringy video. Meghan Markle really believed she was done with that video, didn't she? That strange little dance clip she posted on Instagram, purportedly from 4 years ago during her pregnancy, has somehow turned into one of the most talked about train wrecks on the internet right now, unfolding into a PR catastrophe for Netflix, as well as Meghan, and they are not pleased about it. So let's set the situation. Meghan posts a video of herself dancing to a loud rap song while ostensibly in a hospital room. Harry can be seen in the background, looking like an awkward extra face that is conveniently turned away from the camera. The whole scene seems strange and uneasy, especially the way Meghan gestures and strikes these strange little twerks and poses that leave you wondering what she was doing. Was this supposed to be uplifting, humorous, or emotional? We only know that most people saw it and thought, wait, what the hell did I just see? This is when the juicy part comes. People aren't believing Meghan's assertion that the video is 4 years old. In fact, many are convinced it's much more current, and they're analyzing every element to try and prove it, including the background music, Meghan's hair, the lighting, the hospital furnishings, and even the everything is currently being closely watched, and the biggest red flag is Harry's hidden face. It seems like she didn't want to reveal the exact date because, let's face it, if Harry's face had been visible, people could have probably figured out when this was actually filmed. However, Meghan being Meghan, she didn't just post the video and move on. Oh no, she's doubling down. According to her, this video was a message to her detractors, her way of saying, I'm a mother, I'm powerful, and I'll express myself however I want. On paper, that might sound empowering, but in reality, it came across as just another chapter in her lengthy tale of victimization, narcissism, and deflection. She is once again transforming criticism into a narrative of personal attack, portraying anyone who didn't like the video as jealous, unresolved, or simply incorrect. This is where Netflix enters the drama. Insiders claim they were not prepared for the release of the video, and when it did, it caught everyone on her team executives by surprise, claimed to have approached Meghan and asked her to remove the video because they wanted to do damage control after seeing the wave of backlash growing. However, Meghan refused to move, and the video is still proudly displayed as if it were a work of art. Let's just say that there is a lot of internal tension, and that there is a disagreement between Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos about how to handle this because, in addition to Meghan being criticized online, it is also reflecting poorly on them, especially with Love Meghan already receiving a lackluster response prior to this debacle, which will only make matters worse. According to insiders, Netflix is quietly panicking because they have already been dealing with dwindling public trust following a string of failures and content that has generated controversy. But Meghan is making it clear that she will use her show to lecture the public on parenting identity and motherhood. Let's face it, who is asking for that? As a result, Netflix is currently taking a hit. The level of chaos we're talking about isn't just that Meghan made a dubious video, it's also how she's handling the backlash. Rather than displaying even the slightest amount of humility or saying, hey, maybe this wasn't the best idea, she's fully embracing her martyr complex in every response and statement she's made since the video was released. Their redemption arc, a celebrity name with worldwide appeal and a fresh start to rebuild on. Instead, they're now frantically putting out fires started by a single Instagram post. She remarked, "It's my purpose to show the critics who the real parent is," with a strange tone of self-importance, as if she truly feels that she is being punished for being exactly who she is. Girl, what? The irony is awful because, despite Meghan's claims that she wants to show the world what a good, caring mother looks like, she is actually using a contentious video as a platform to do it. The film shows her dancing around a hospital room with a noticeable baby belly, while her spouse hovers enigmatically in the background like a character in a psychological movie. How has love impacted the stable parenthood image she wishes to promote behind the scenes of her Netflix series? Meghan was already working on a second installment, which would be a part 2 of the first rather than a whole season. But now that reshoots have been postponed and several parts are reportedly being completely rewritten, there is increasing concern that any material depicting parenthood or, at this point, Meghan has gone so far as to say that American society is unhealed and needs her guidance, as if we've all been waiting for her to intervene and show us the path to inner peace and better parenting. It's almost spiritual. Hospital scenes are going to be relentlessly criticized by audiences. Nobody wants to be a part of something that has become a punchline. Meghan doesn't seem to care, though, as she has been quoted as saying that expressing herself is how people find their sense of value, as well as how disconnected from reality it feels. Meanwhile, social media hasn't been kind, with comment sections full of jokes, memes, and outright disgust. Some people have called it the most awkward royal video ever posted, while others have said that it looks like she shoved a pillow under her dress. Whether this is true or not, the fact that so many people are questioning the video's authenticity only fuels the flames. And naturally, the longer it remains up, the more people examine every frame. Each background track lyric, each shadow, each timestamp is being examined. What's worse for Meghan is that the video is taking precedence over everything else she has been working on, including podcast plans and branding strategies she believed were about to be successful. She has once again become the focus of attention, not because of her work or voice, but because of a 30-second video that appears to be a parody and plays like a cry for attention. The most absurd aspect of all of this is that Meghan continues to believe she is winning, rather than acknowledging the backlash for what it is: public rejection. She's wearing it like a badge of honor in her mind, believing that the criticism validates her influence and that the buzz surrounding her video shows that she's changing culture or whatever spin she's giving herself. However, the truth is that people aren't talking because they're inspired, but rather because they're shocked, perplexed, and genuinely exhausted. What's really annoying people is her insistence on turning this entire situation into some kind of self-empowerment campaign. Meghan keeps reiterating that she is an adult and proud to show the world her version of motherhood is fine, but the problem isn't rights, but rather judgment. If you're in the spotlight, especially with a multi-million-dollar Netflix deal, you have to know when something doesn't go as planned, and this video did just that. She can be a mother and a media personality, according to critics, but they advise against posting a somewhat strange dance video from a hospital bed, and then utilize it to introduce a talk about jealousy and parenting. People are cringing because of this gap. You can't preach genuineness and then give something that feels so incredibly artificial and staged. In the meantime, Netflix's internal disarray is getting worse, and officials are gathering behind closed doors to determine whether the collaboration is still worthwhile. An optics nightmare has emerged from what was intended to be a clean, reputation-boosting content play. There are rumors that some people in the firm want to reduce her visibility, focus on other initiatives, or perhaps distance the brand entirely. But Meghan is allegedly doubling down and wants to put even more effort into her podcast because she thinks the timing is right to make it louder, not quieter. Meghan had a strong public rebranding a year ago, leaning toward wellness and motherhood empowerment. Nothing particularly risky. But now she's back to being a lightning rod, and the unfortunate thing is that she posted that video, disregarded Netflix's request to take it down, and turned legitimate public criticism into an imaginary battle against her femininity. Not because someone exposed her, but because she did it to herself. It's difficult to regain public trust after it's been lost, particularly when you react defensively to criticism rather than thoughtfully. Meghan appears to be caught in a vicious cycle, where every error she makes is seen as evidence of her strength. Every setback turns into a lesson for the rest of us, but eventually it becomes exhausting and less inspiring. As of right now, the video is still live, and the backlash is still going strong. Netflix is subtly changing its marketing strategies, and Meghan is preparing for more speeches and monologues. Perhaps she thinks the storm will pass and that this is just another chapter in her comeback story, but for everyone else watching from the sidelines, it feels more like a meltdown than a comeback. The public's avoidable meltdown,